Hello everybody and welcome to the Juicebox Racing League Season 2, race number 8 here tonight at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Lobster 150. Tonight should be an extremely interesting race to end the regular season. For the Juicebox Racing League Season 2 here tonight, we have 5 drivers coming into the race, locked into the chase for the next 4 races. It'll be extremely interesting to see how those guys strategize this race for sure, considering the fact that most of those guys are just racing for the top spot going into the chase for points. A lot of the other drivers, though, are obviously going to be looking at trying their absolute best to try and make the chase. There's still plenty of drivers who are not locked in, and then there are also plenty of drivers who are right outside that cutoff line who could possibly try tonight at the last race of the season to race their way into the chase and have a chance to race for the championship for the next 4 races. Obviously tonight the Lobster 150, pretty basic weather, not anything too crazy here tonight for the races. Everyone's going around making their practice laps here, getting ready for the next 150 laps here at New Hampshire. So before we go ahead and take a look at the starting grid here, let's take a look at the point standings really quick. So as the point standings come up on the screen here, let's go ahead and take a look. Obviously you see 55 points ahead of the cutoff line. Logan Monteith is the top guy coming into this race. Hank Steinmiller, Colton, and the one car Cooper Johnson and Jason Hounshaw. All those guys coming into this race are for sure locked into the chase for the next 4 races. Congratulations to all those guys. But as you can see there, Seth Harrelson, 18 points ahead of the cutoff line. It's not for sure that he's locked into the chase yet, and it'll take a pretty catastrophic day today to boot himself out of the chase, but still not totally locked in yet on points. You see James Goshen there with 14 points ahead of the cutoff line. He's not totally locked in. Again, it would take a pretty catastrophic day for him to unfortunately miss out. And then also Jose Medina, he's only 3 points above the cutoff line. So that'll be the interesting thing to watch in this race, is paying attention to the 24 car of Jose Medina. You'll also be paying attention to these 2 other drivers that you see, the last 2 drivers that could possibly try and mathematically points their way into the chase. Everybody else is mathematically out of the chase, outside of these drivers that are outside the cutoff line. Jake Hounshaw in the 02, he's 3 points back from Jose Medina, so obviously a good run for him today would points his way into the chase. And then obviously Anthony Guarneri, who, although he missed an extra race, now mind you that there is a drop week throughout both the first 8 races and the last 4 races for all these drivers. Anthony actually missed an extra race, and so the fact that he's only 5 points back from the cutoff line, if he were to have himself a really good day today and possibly points his way in, it'd be a very, very huge run for him and a great season for sure, considering the fact that he missed a whole extra race compared to everybody else. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on everything here tonight at New Hampshire. I will have everything on the ticker to be able to differentiate all the drivers and where they're at in the points and such, and then who is on the cutoff line, who's locked in, and who is mathematically out. So let's go ahead and let these drivers qualify here, and then we will go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup. As qualifying comes to an end here, is the final race, as I mentioned earlier on, of the regular season. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final starting lineup of the regular season. On pole, John Whitendorf in that 33, with what feels like I believe it is the third pole in a row for that 33. He's going for 5 wins in a row if he were to come in and win this race here tonight. Tyler Barnett starting in the outside row for him. Unfortunately, mathematically out of the chase, but still a great run for him and a great starting position for him here tonight. Third on bat, you have Logan Monteith and Cooper Johnson starting side by side. Hank Steinmiller still in the 10 card this week alongside Jake Hounshaw. Anthony Guarneri alongside Seth Harrelson in the 07. You'll see Seth Harrelson actually there is yellow. We'll get to that in just a moment as to why he's in yellow instead of in green. Andre Guerrero in the 18 alongside Jose Medina in the 24 to round out the top 10. Jason Hounshaw starts us off in 11th alongside James Roth in the 4 car. In the final couple spots, James Goshen starts P13, that 85. Colton in the 1 car in P14 alongside him. Josh Silva in the 3 and P15. And Nick Serif in the 523 all three of those guys, Colton, Josh Silva, and Nick Seraph, did not take a qualifying time. So let's go ahead and allow these drivers to get rolling here, and we will go ahead and see if we can get some green flag action. So as the cars start to get rolling here at New Hampshire, I did mention earlier on that the 07 is in yellow and instead not in green. Now, the reason why I mentioned that is because coming into this race, mathematically, Seth Harrelson would have not been locked into the chase. But because we only have 16 drivers to show up tonight, and Seth Harrelson is 18 points above the cut line, that does mathematically lock him into the chase, as we only got 16 drivers to grid here tonight for the Juicebox Racing League, race number 8 here at New Hampshire. So congratulations to Seth Harrelson coming into this race. He is now mathematically locked into the chase. So now the thing to keep an eye on is that 85 of James Goshen, the 24 of Jose Medina, that 02 of Jay Counshell, and the 16 of Anthony Guarneri. That'll be the interesting 4 drivers to keep an eye on here, as John Whitendorf, for the 3rd pole in a row, I believe, will lead us to the green here at New Hampshire for the next 155 laps. Pace cars off, and we are green here at New Hampshire for the Lobster 150. As we complete lap 1 here at New Hampshire, John Whitendorf already out to a half-second lead over Tyler Burnett in P2. A couple of side-by-side battles that we have here a little bit farther back in the pack. The interesting part about this dynamic with the Cup cars, the older Cup cars, the Gen 6 Cup cars, and this New Hampshire Motor Speedway, is that the fastest line is really not that bottom line. If you've ever raced New Hampshire, and whether it's iRacing or any other NASCAR video game, you know that that very bottom line next to that yellow line is not the fast way around. It's an oddly shaped track in the corners. And so guys are really going to have to rely on trying to get runs off the top to try and get past. I mean, it's not to the length as you see Anthony Guarneri go way high there. It's not to the length that we saw at IRP weeks and weeks ago with the ARCA cars, where you're literally running the wall, but it is a higher groove than you normally see in a short track. And this, some people say this does classify as a short track. I wouldn't classify this as a short track per se. It is a mile long, but just the way that it races is a lot like a short track that you'd see like a Martinsville. See a side-by-side battle here with Hank Steinmiller and Anthony Guarneri. Unfortunately, Hank was not able to make it into the booth this week. We might be able to get him next week for the chase. And as you see there on the left side, drivers in yellow with their number in yellow, those guys are locked into the chase, and you will see competing for the championship starting next week at Richmond with the ARCA cars. It'll be extremely interesting dynamic to see there. More side-by-side battles up here towards the front. Jay Counshell and Anthony Guarneri, both of those guys, the 16 and the 02, they definitely need a really good run. See Nick Seraph hit pit road here. Not sure, there might be a caution out, and there does seem to be. This may have been on Nick Seraph, as he is on pit road. Let's go back and see if we can take a look at exactly what happened here. Following along with Nick Seraph in the 523. Following Jason Hounshell and Jose Medina here. Ooh, that back end started coming around, just overcorrected right into James Roth. Very disappointing for them. This is on board with James Roth in the 4 following behind. I mean, there's literally nowhere to go there for James. You can't react fast enough. You don't expect him to lose it in that manner, and extremely difficult for James to try and avoid that wreck. So as the caution is out here in New Hampshire for the Lobster 150, John Weitendorf has led all green flag laps so far and still continues to lead, as looks like not too many drivers coming down pit road here. Tyler Barnett in the 26, still P2. Looks like we have a couple of takers. James Roth, who was involved in that crash, had his whole front end destroyed. And Hank Steinmiller actually will choose to come down pit road this time. So trying to get off sequence possible here is that number 10 car. And he has the ability, he has no problem in getting off sequence because, you know, he is locked into the chase. So, hell, if he were to finish dead last in this race, it's really not going to affect his chances at the championship too much. The other thing to pay attention, though, is we'll put the points back up here. And I failed to mention this in the pre-race, is you see how close it is between the top 3 guys there for the chase. Now, we do run the traditional chase format. So, the number 1 guy who's, you know, has the most points going into the chase, he will have a 10-point advantage over 8th place. So we'll end up resetting the points, and first place will get 1,010 points. Second place will only be 3 points back, being 1,007 points. Third will have 1,005, and then it'll be 1 point back all the way down to 8th place. So being that guy with the most points at the end of the season, at least for the chase contenders, is going to be extremely important coming out of this thing, because it's going to be a tight battle throughout the entire chase. I mean, you only got 4 races to perform. Granted that all the chase drivers do have a drop week to work with within those 4 weeks, but it's going to be such a tight battle, and every one of those guys is going to have to be on their A game if they're going to have a chance to win the championship at the end. And having 3 extra points on just second place may be the difference for a lot of these guys. Logan Monteith, Colton in that 1 car, and Hank Steinmiller. It may be the difference between winning the championship and not winning the championship. So as the pace car comes off, we're going to go back green here. John Weitendorf has gotten pretty good at restarts here for how many times that he has restarted out front here. A couple of sim helper teammates here. The 99 of Logan Monteith and Tyler Burnett, P2 and P3. Ooh, and then the 02 really got loose there. That's Jay Countshell. See, this is going to really hurt him because he was having a really good run there up towards the top 5, and as I mentioned earlier, it's extremely, extremely hard to pass in these cars here at this track. It takes a long time to try and maneuver around guys, and he just lost a ton of time and a ton of positions. And most importantly, a ton of points, because you see right behind him is Jose Medina in that 24 car. He's going to be the key to watch here because he's only 3 points above the cut line. Comparative to like James Goshen, who's 15, it'll be extremely interesting to watch and see if this 24 can just have a solid enough day. He doesn't need to win the race. He doesn't need to run top 5. He just needs to run around guys like Jay Countshell here, not allow him and Anthony Guarneri more specifically also to not run away with this thing. Anthony Guarneri, though, having himself a pretty good start to this race, right on ahead of the 1 car of Colton. You know, coming into the season, I don't think there was too many people that thought that this 1 car would perform as well as he did. You know, last season we didn't really see Colton run up towards the front too much. He wasn't winning races like he has this season. And, you know, the one win that he did have was at the dirt track at Eldora, earlier on in the year, beating out Logan there on the last couple laps. A great finish that was for sure. And Colton has definitely had himself one hell of a run from start to finish, and he's earned himself a spot in the chase. But not only has he earned himself a spot in the chase, as the caution comes out here, get back to Colton here in a second. Looks like there was a crash between James. Oh, a little bit more contact there. Looks like there was a lot of contact. Even Hank Steinmiller may have been involved as well. Let's go back and see what happened here in this one. Follow along Hank Steinmiller here. This is second caution of the race. Oh. A lot of contact there between those drivers. Not sure who was at fault. Obviously, contact between the 63 of Hank Steinmiller and James Goshen of the 85. On board with James Goshen. Yeah, that's a very interesting predicament for sure. I mean, the 85 James Goshen obviously not happy in this scenario here, but let's go back and take a look at it from the blimp view. So here it is from the blimp. Kind of maybe get a better idea here. It just kind of looked like the 85 may have came down the track just a little bit. I mean, it didn't, like, you know, shoot down the track. It was more just turned a little bit off the wall and then barely got into that 63. And when he started getting to Hank Steinmiller there, that's when it just, all of a sudden, you know, you obviously hook that left rear and it's going to turn you right around. There's not much saving it from there. So we're under caution once again here. Logan Monteith actually, ooh, almost came down. Got a bunch of guys to come down though. Both Houndshell brothers, Jake and Jason, decide to come down pit road this time. James Roth comes down again, and Hank Steinmiller, after being caught up in that wreck, he will also come down pit road. So we're going to take a short break here, and we'll go ahead and skip ahead to some more green flag action. John Weitendorf has yet again led all the laps so far. See if anybody can catch him here after the commercial break. Welcome back, everybody. The Lobster 150 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Pace car is back off the track here again. Oh, that inside line really got stacked up. And we're back green racing at New Hampshire yet again. 18 laps complete. We're on the 19th lap right now. And oh, what is going on with this 26 here? Tyler Barnett really slowing track. Just dropped back a ton of spots. He may have an issue here. Not sure. He was running P2 and he was really having himself a good run. Must have some type of issue. He's coming down pit road. He's not going to make a stop here. Looks like he's just trying to fix something here. Not sure what's going on with this 26. We'll have to go back and check on that once we get a further update it. And the 4 cars around. No caution yet. That's James Roth who's around on the backstretch. He'll get it straightened out. So no caution. Tyler Barnett is still on pit road trying to fix his issues. Now Cooper Johnson moves to P2. Ahead of Logan Monteith from the 99. We were talking about Colton here. I want to finish my thought on Colton here because he's up to P4 now, and nice run for him. He seems like he's a guy who, you know, like I mentioned earlier, last season didn't really have too much of a stellar run. Not a really championship contender, but this year he is one of those three guys I mentioned earlier on. Hank Steinmiller, Logan Monteith, and Colton here. All three of these guys are right now competing to be the top guy in the points heading into the chase starting in a couple of weeks. As the 85 is around as well. Looks like we're still going to be green here again, maybe. And we are still green. 85, you know, he needed to have just a stellar run. He didn't need to wow people here today at New Hampshire. I mean, this is a very difficult track, and as you can see, that back end is pretty beat up as well. He's still having himself a pretty good run, though, for the moment. I'm just going to finish my thought here on Colton, though, because Colton has... The one main thing I wanted to say about this one car is he's had himself a very, very good season. Comparative to last season, he's one of the top three guys in the chase right now competing for the championship. And I'd be hard-pressed to say that he might be, in a lot of people's eyes, the favorite to win the championship. Thought we had a caution there for a moment. Not sure. Kind of looked like the caution lights were on, but... Regardless, a great run for Colton in that one car for sure. Farther back to 63. Hank Steinmiller. Another one of those guys who are locked into the chase and running for that top spot in the chase. Trying to get those point advantages over the rest of the field. He's looking to the inside of Anthony Guarneri. And Anthony, right now the top guy running who is right now outside of the chase. He is P6. That 02 car, Jake Hounshell. You know, Jake has had his fair share of problems all year long. And that's the reason why he's stuck in the predicament that he's in, being 3 points back from the cutoff line, is he's had a lot of really solid runs where you'll see him in the top 10 for most of the time that he's out on track, most of the run that he's having. He's running extremely well. It's just all season long it seems like he's had, I don't want to say everything bad happen to him, but he's had a lot of bad things happen to him. A lot of wrecks that he's been involved in that were not his fault. A lot of issues and predicaments that he was in that were really just happenstance of just happened to be the wrong place, wrong time. And this 02 car still on the doorstep of possibly making the chase with all the issues he's had all season long. He just needs to have a good solid run. And you see where he's positioned right now. Jake Hounshell right now, as he looks to move to the inside of Anthony Guarneri. There's only one spot ahead, technically, of Jose Medina. So he is 2 points back from the cutoff line right now. So he either needs to make some passes or he needs to see Jose drop back a couple more spots here to try and make the chase. Speaking of Jose, he's a guy who has just been solid all year long. Only 3 points above the cutoff line. He has had a couple of issues himself, been involved in a couple wrecks and a couple of tracks that have just not really gone his way, but he is having himself a really solid run here this entire season. He continues to have a solid run here tonight. He might be that 7th or 8th guy going into the chase. A little bit of smoke up ahead. We saw Tyler Burnett there. You see Tyler Burnett a couple of spots ahead here in that 26. He's back out on track, and we actually heard he was having some sound issues with his radio. So unfortunately, he had to come in, fix those issues. He's now 3 laps down, but obviously plenty of racing left to get back into this thing and have a chance at having a solid finish still. I think if you can ask the question, though, out of the Hounshell brothers, which Hounshell brother you thought would have been locked into the chase by the 8th race of the season, I don't think many people would have said Jason Hounshell. And hell, I think if you had even asked yourself, or excuse me, not ask yourself, but ask Jason himself, out of you and your brother Jake, who do you think is going to be locked into the chase by the last race of the regular season? I think he would have even said his brother Jake. But Jason has had an amazing season so far. He's locked himself into the chase coming into this last race, so he's just running for pride here. He's kind of basically locked himself into the spot that he's going to be in the chase as well. But that 00 has had a really good season. He's been solid. kind of the opposite of his brother, where he's avoided all the big problem wrecks, and although his pit strategies have been a little bit iffy at times, he's still been able to come out with great finishes. So, great season for Jason so far. I'm going to go back up towards the front here, see if we can find a couple more battles. Everyone's kind of strung out right now. The 14 has actually fallen back a couple spots here. You see both Colton and Logan were able to make the pass on the 14 car for second and third, so the 14 is now back to fourth. You know, I looked at Hank Steinmiller for a second there, but Hank has actually had himself a pretty good run. He's on the newer tires, so he was actually making past Anthony and Seth Harrelson. It's a nice run for Hank right now. Both of those guys, all five, you see second through sixth there, all five of those guys are locked into the chase, so they're just kind of running for fun, as I've mentioned earlier on. But John, you know, John has had an amazing season as well. We've mentioned it multiple times as he's putting James Goshen a lap down here. That's something that he is pretty used to doing in that 33 car, and we are extremely disappointed that, you know, he's not going to be able to be a part of the chase this season. If you did not watch the last broadcast, we found out that he was unfortunately not going to be able to be a part of the chase this season due to personal issues outside of racing here on the Juicebox Racing League. But we know John, being last season's champion and having himself a great run this season, if not a better run this season, winning the last 4 races in a row. If he comes in here tonight in New Hampshire, he has a chance to win his 5th race in a row. Record-breaking stuff here in the Juicebox Racing League from John Weindorf. I mean, we usually see pretty good parity at the winners, but these last 4 races have just been dominant from the 33. I mean, some of it we kind of did expect. You know, it's road racing is in his wheelhouse. It is something that he is, I think he would say he's best at, for sure, is road racing. But even some of these other tracks that, you know, you don't go in there and expect the 33 to be the favorite. He still walks out of there with the win. And he's done that the last 4 weeks. Amazing run from the 33, and the 85 is around. It's the second time that he's spun in that exact same spot. Don't think this one will trigger the caution, though. Everyone still seems to be under power, and the 85 gets himself back straightened out and running again. And now he's still lapped down. He's going to continue to lose more time, which obviously you don't want to see. I'm not sure, the caution may be out actually here. Well, it looks like everyone's still pretty much under power actually. I take that back. We are under caution. It's hard to tell, you know, that drivers are still under power trying to get around here. So we obviously know what the caution was for. It was for the 85 James Goshen. We saw him spin on the backstretch there. So now we'll get to see some guys come down pit road. First time for most of these guys hitting pit road here. A long green flag run there. And we saw that 63, Hank Steinmiller, he went off strategy. He stayed out this time to get some track position and lead some laps here. Because he, you know, although he is racing for nothing, he is in the chase, he is still kind of racing for something in the sense he's trying to be the regular season champion. So it's still a very tight battle at that position. As you see, the 33 wins the race off pit road. Jason Hounshell comes off second off pit road, beating out Logan, Cooper Johnson, Colton, Anthony Guarneri, Jake Hounshell. There's that 85 of James Goshen. It looks like he found the rear end of that car and put it back on. Seth Harrelson, a long stop for him. Not sure reasoning for how long it took him on that stop, but back under caution here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Lobster 150. We'll be right back here with some more green flag action. Welcome back, everybody, to New Hampshire for the Lobster 150 here tonight, the final race of the regular season. A bit of strange pit strategy call. Some guys stayed out this time, some guys came in. Hank Steinmiller will lead us to the green this time. First time that we have a different leader here in this race. And Hank's on much older tires than John, so expect to see John make the pass here pretty quickly as he's already to the inside of Hank. As he dives it in there, and he'll clear that 63 off of 3 and 4. Bunch of shake up here, side by side racing back here. Houndshell brothers on the outside of Anthony Guarneri and Seth Harrelson. Jason went way high, allowing Seth to get on by. See that Hank Steinmiller is going to drop like a rock here just on those older tires. I mean, it's not even like he's on 10 or 15 lap older tires. This is like 30 or 40 lap older tires. Let's actually take a look at the pit strategy here. See, he's on 27 lap older tires. Ooh, there's possible spin behind them. Looks like it may have cleared up. Looks like it has. We're still in the green right now. I was looking down there and didn't quite see exactly what the spin was for. I saw James Goshen was involved. Jason Houndshell was also involved. As you can see there, I mean, Hank Steinmiller on 22 laps older tires than just the rest of the field, basically. Be interesting to see how well he's able to hold up going after here. He's 7th. 8th place is going after him. James Goshen has hit pit road. Not sure what type of issues that he has right now, but he has had all kinds of issues all race long. A couple of updates, though, for sure. This may lock James Goshen into the chase. But Andre Guerrera is officially out of the race. He's P15. Josh Silva, I'm not sure if he even gridded up for this race. He is P16. Both of those drivers are officially out of the race. 47 laps into this thing. Other notable things, Nick Seraph is 3 laps down. He was involved in that first caution that we saw. James Goshen is now 2 laps down. Tyler Barrett, who we saw, had some sound problems, had to come down pit road and try to get those figured out. He is 2 laps down now. And James Roth is the first and only car a single lap down at the moment in P11. Nick Seraph in that 523 gets down and out of the way of all the lead lap drivers here. You really stay out of the way of all these guys. A lot more spread out though now. Drivers are really getting spread out here. James Roth. Here's James Roth. He's a single lap down, but look at that front end. That is not a pretty front end at all. Saw it just pound the side of the 523 on that first caution. He's playing it safe right now, but not getting his fast repair, trying to save that for later on in the race for sure. We saw the 00. He may have gotten into contact with James Gosha, not exactly sure what the cause of that contact was, but as you can see, that double zero is really, really beat up. Back end is really, really not looking exactly how you want it to look. That right front is also not extremely clean. So he'll have to try his best to try and rebound from this. Back up front, John Whitendorf, still the leader right now. 51 laps down on lap 52 right now. Now over a second ahead of second place, Logan Monteith. And this seems to be a growing theme over the last how many races. Because although we've pointed out many times that John Whitendorf has led a lot of these things, this 99 car has been second place in pretty much all of them. I mean, although that John is getting all the credit for winning all these races, this 99 car has been so close so many times to winning. We saw he was so close at Eldora. He finished second there. Second at Las Vegas. If I'm not mistaken, he was having himself a great run at Watkins Glen. Was second for most of that. Until had some pit issues, I believe. He had a pit penalty, which cost him a bunch of time on track. But this 99 car, there's a reason why he's coming into this thing the points leader. Okay, so he has had himself one hell of a run this season. You know, speaking of good runs, there's that one car. Fulton right behind him. Both those guys chasing for that top spot in the chase. Going into the first race of the chase at Richmond. A little bit farther back, there's the 14 car Cooper Johnson. He is also locked into the chase. Seth Harrelson in the 07. Way far back there is Jay Council. Guys are really starting to get spread out now. Farther on back, and there goes the 16. And this should bring out a caution, I believe. Got extremely loose off of 2. We've seen multiple times now where guys get really loose off 2. And that'd be the biggest issue with these guys getting really loose. And it is actually still green here. No caution for the 16 car. Surprised there was no caution there. I mean, he was fully sideways, backwards on the track, but we are still green right now here in New Hampshire. So not what Anthony Guarneri needed at all, considering that he is, 5 points back from the cutoff line. He's now 2 spots behind Jose Medina, and that spin, how much time that he lost now, and it'll take a lot for him to try and fight his way back into this thing. On the other side of the coin, though, John Whitendorf has opened up over a 2-second lead on Logan Monteith, and this seems to be, as I said earlier, the growing theme of these races so far. The 33 leads and the 99 is second place. Farther back, though, this 14 is kind of seemingly closing in on the 1 here just a little bit. You're seeing a battle here pretty shortly here between these 2 cars. Let's go on board with Seth Harrelson here for a little bit. Kind of see what he's dealing with in the car. Not too much fight in that wheel. I mean, he's keeping it mostly straight, not having to saw at the wheel too much, not having to do too much overcorrection. Mostly pretty smooth for that 07 right now. We talked about possible battles here. This 14 is still closing in on the 1 car here of Colton. Let's take a look at what Colton's dealing with in this 1 car here. He's dealing with a looser condition than the 07 is. Oh yeah, pretty loose off of 4 there. Oh geez, really loose off that corner there. So obviously fighting a lot looser condition than the 07 was, and probably fighting a lot less loose condition than the 14 is here. It's 14 though, still trying his best to chase down the 1 car. Still trying to get on by him here. It's extremely hard to pass on the inside, as we've seen many times. Most of the guys are making the pass on the outside, getting the power down. 14 might have him clear this time. And oh man, no he doesn't. Man, was he loose there. I don't even know how he saved that. I mean, that was just insanely loose. Now he's under fire from the 07, Seth Harrelson, but man, he was so loose off that corner, I'm not even sure how he even saved that. So it looks like we have ourselves a caution out, though. Not sure what the caution was for. May have been the 523. Let's go back and see if we can find out here. So we're on board with the 523 of Nick Seraph here. Oof. Hard hit on the front end there. This was the cause for the caution here. As you saw, I mean, he really got loose. Let's go ahead and follow along from the chase view here and just watch this 523 just start to come around here. As he starts to put the power down, it starts coming around, and no saving it after that. So under caution here, the top 9 are the only drivers on the lead lap. Anthony Guarneri is the last driver on the lead lap, so he got pretty lucky with this caution coming out after he spun it around and lost all that time. So it'll be interesting to watch what drivers choose to come down. Looks like the 14 is the first one to come down here. Remember, they have a limited set of tires for this race. I believe it is 3 sets of tires sitting on pit road. And we saw at least everybody came down and used 1 set of tires. 14 here. See the 63 Hank Steinmiller. Looks like that's the 00 and the 24. There's the 16. All these guys are taking tires, so that'll be the interesting thing to keep an eye on here. going forward, is these guys now should only have one set of tires left in the pits while all those other guys stayed out there. We saw the 33, the 99, the 07, the one car. All those guys still have now 2 sets of tires on pit road. So as everyone goes through all their pit stops and gets ready to go back racing, we'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hampshire Motor Speedway here. Final race of the regular season here until we get to the chase here in a couple weeks. More pit strategy being played here as we go back green at New Hampshire. The top 4 did not come down to take tires. That includes the 1, the 07, the 99, and the 33. Be interesting to watch as this 14 car... Ooh! One car really went up the track there. Not sure if there was contact. 3 wide battle here between the 14, 07, and the 1. The 1 backs out. Here comes that 02 on the bottom. They're going to go 3 wide here. Oh, there's contact! 14 is involved. 02 is involved. And this will bring out the caution. An interesting 3 wide predicament there. A little bit of touch there between the 02 and the 14. Doesn't look like they have too much damage on their car, but I have to go back and take a look at this here. See what happened. Following along with the 02, this is going into 3 and 4. This is where the 1 car goes up the track. 07 and the 14 are side by side coming off of 4. The 02 got a pretty good run. Dives in there. I mean, I guess I'll leave the judgment call up to everybody else here watching the broadcast on who you put it on. I'd personally say that's probably a racing incident right there. Let's go back and watch it from both these guys' perspectives. Is on board with the 02. Jay Countshell goes to the bottom here. Just barely touches him. Gets it sideways. Saves it, keeps it going straight. This is on board with the 14 of Cooper Johnson here. From what he saw. Oh. A little bit more contact from the 16, but both guys did a really good job of saving it. So we're back live, and don't know if the 14 is kind of upset with that 02, obviously. 14 kind of feels like he was slighted a little bit there in that wreck. Obviously not a happy camper that the 14 car is, as he'll come down pit road. So as another caution comes out here, John Whitendorf still leads. We're going to go back green here in a little bit. We'll go ahead and take another quick commercial break, and we'll be back for some more green flag action. Welcome back, everybody, to New Hampshire, yet again under caution. Another quick spin, this time going into turn 1. Pace car will make the hard left-hand turn this time, and we were going to go back racing here again. John Whitendorf still leading here at New Hampshire. Seth Harrelson this time was going to try and get second place here as he dives to the inside of Logan. Ooh, man, that 07 really got loose off of 2. But closer than 99 than he thought, and probably turned the wheel a little bit more to make sure he didn't get into the 99 there. Side by side there's the 02 of Jay Countshill. Oh, he almost got loose as well. A little bit of bump in there, it almost kind of looked like between the 107 to 99. Guys get fanned out pretty good here, going through 3 and 4. Another quick update, also want to mention one of the chase contenders, James Goshen, is officially out of the race. He will be given P14 to end this thing. Not sure his issues. We saw he was really having problems coming off of 2, getting really loose, and was involved in one of the other cautions not too long ago. And with the position that he is in, he should still be... Wow, man, that 07 is loose as hell. I was going to say, he should still be locked into the chase, being where he's positioned in 14th. It's going to take one of the... Oh, there's the 07 still loose. He's getting into the 16 now. Man, Seth Harrelson is so loose right now. He is having problems keeping that car straight coming off of any of the corners. Cooper Johnson now looking to get by the 07 now. I want to keep an eye on this 07 to Seth Harrelson. I think he knows and understands now that he's locked into this thing, because, man, he is driving like he is locked into it. Loose off of almost every single one of these corners. Back up front, though. Oh, contact! Looked like contact between the 02 and the 33, and the 02 gets turned around! Right in front of everyone. Seth Harrelson's involved. Jay Countshill, who just got into the last wreck with the 14 car of Cooper Johnson, this time gets absolutely turned by the 33 coming off of 4. We didn't get a really good look at exactly what happened there. Let's go back and see what happened between the 02 and the 33. This is through 1 and 2. You see Jake is actually caught up to John Whitendorf here. Remember, he is on those newer tires compared to the 33. This time the 02 just overcooks the corner, pushes the 33 up the track. He gets the spot, but it almost kind of looked like Jake started to get loose as well off that corner, and John just helped finish him off there. Let's go back and look at John Whitendorf's point of view. We're on board with John Whitendorf here. We saw he got bumped and then just... I don't want to say that's intentional, because I'm not in the driver's seat and I'm not John Whitendorf, but from an outside perspective, it may look like a little bit of retaliation. So back live, 99, 33, one car. 14 also comes down pit road. A lot of guys. The 07 coming down pit road. Pretty much everybody's coming down pit road this time. There's the 02. Only a couple guys chose to stay out here. There's the 63 of Hank Steinmiller. He's going to get some more laps led out of this. Yeah, a couple others that chose to stay out here. The 26. This chose to stay out. That's Tyler Barnett. A little bit of a blink there he had, but race off pit road. 14 is... Don't believe he took tires at all. Looks like he may have just came down for gas, but 99 beats the 33 off pit road. Followed by Colton there in the one car, Anthony Guarneri, Jose Medina, James Roth, Nick Seraph there. There's Seth Harrelson. So, go ahead and get ourselves back to the green flag here. We'll take another short break. Welcome back here as we get ready to go back green. Hank Steinmiller hits the gas. We're back green here at New Hampshire. Tyler Barnett. Oh my lord! Absolutely turned was the 14 there. Looked like Jason Hounshaw got into the left rear of the 14. John Whitendorf involved. One of the drivers who's dominated the last how many weeks. Anthony Guarneri was involved in that one. We got to go back and see what happened there. So this is right off the restart here. Let's go ahead and follow the 14. This outside line. See, there goes Hank. It's a great launch off the start. Oh, man. Saw James Roth involved there after the fact. A lot of that weird bounce of the 00 and the 14 having contact. The 14 just back end just bounced off the 00. Let's go ahead and follow along with Jason Hounshaw here. Ooh. So from that perspective, it almost looks like the 14 kind of came down and the 00 went into the corner a lot harder. Just got into that left rear quarter panel of the 14 and spun him around. One more point of view here from the blimp. Let's get a really good look here and see. The 14 kind of comes down the track there a little bit. Kind of hoping that he has the 00 cleared. Spotter probably tells him that he's not clear. Stops himself from going all the way down the track, and then 00 went in there. Just a little bit too deep, it kind of seemed like. Right in the left rear of the 14 and spun him around in front of John and Anthony. So this is going to help Hank Steinmiller here, being out front. Tyler Barnett as well. See, Cooper Johnson's on pit road. John Whitendorf, Anthony Guarneri, and James Roth, all four of those guys involved in that caution, are on pit road. We see there's the 00 who's involved in that. He'll hit pit road as well. So You know, I mentioned in a little bit that James Goshen retired from the race. He is 14th place and will not lose any more spots from that. But the interesting part is that he technically is not locked into the chase now. He was exactly 14 points above the cutoff line. So, if, and this only really goes for Jake Houndshill, if Jake Houndshill is able to go ahead and have himself a win here in this race, which is very possible. We saw Jake was running up towards the front there right before one of those cautions. If Jake Houndshill can pull out the win in this thing, he'll race himself into the chase and knock James Goshen out of it. What'll also be interesting to see is, you know, Jose Medina, kind of mentioned him a couple of times. He's running top 5 right now. And this is kind of, you know, Jose's MO. He tries to stay out of everybody's idiocy of the cautions that everybody else is in. He kind of tries to keep his car clean and ends up getting a lot of great finishes out of it. He's currently running 5th right now, as I mentioned a second ago. As of right now, you know, he'd be not sure if he's going to be able to beat James Goshen in points, but it's pretty close as far as getting ahead of him. That's all Jose really needs to do, is just have solid runs the rest of this race and keep his car clean, keep his car out towards the front of this race, and he'll have himself a chance at the championship at the end of the year. So, lights are out in the pace car here. Hank Steinmiller will lead them back to the green here yet again. And now he launches. Oh man, that inside line really got stacked up. Back up front. One car gets a really nice power off the bottom here. Remember, the 26 and that leaner of the 63, they're on older tires, so pay attention here. Colton, ooh, contact with the 26. Just a little bit of contact there. Slows up the 07. Allow Colton to go on by and take take second place, actually. Oh, the 07 got into Tyler now as well. A lot of contact that 26 is having to deal with here. Back up to the front. We might be having ourselves a battle for the lead here. Oh man, what a jump to the outside. Now what a pass by Colton. Third leader of the race, and it's Colton in that one car. He goes powering on by that 63 to the lead. What a pass, what a run by that one car. Great job by Colton. A bit farther back, possible battle here. Seth Harrelson and Cooper Johnson, possibly bound for P5. There's John Whitendorf. You saw he was involved in that crash. You see there's still a little bit of damage on that front end. I mean, it shouldn't affect him too much. Oh, behind though. It's Jake Houndshill. He's, hard in the guardrail. He just teleported himself back to pit road. Oh, Jake Houndshill needed such a good run. Only 3 points back for making the chase, and that, I believe, will unfortunately end his chances at being able to make it to the chase. Tough season all season long for that 0-2, and this should unfortunately knock him out. Back out on track though. Bit of a battle here in the 07. Trying to get by Hank Steinmiller here. Doesn't want to wait for Tyler Barnett. Tyler's in his way. He's going to go to the bottom. Tyler's going to continue to block him. And I'm not sure if Hank Steinmiller's plan of being off sequence with these guys is working out too well. I mean, he is leading some laps, but he's not really spending too much time at the front here. And it seems like both times now that he's been on the older tires, he has dropped like a rock both times. It's back to P5 right now, being possibly going to be passed for P6 here if John can get to him. Back up front, though. How about these two guys? Neck and neck right now for the top spot going into the chase between the 1 and the 99. We saw these guys were battling it hard out at Eldora weeks ago. These two might be the ones battling for the championship at the end of the season. And they're battling it out here right now. For the top spot here at New Hampshire. A little bit farther back, Hank Steinmiller has actually been able to so far hold off John Whitendorf and stop the bleeding of losing spots. John looking to get by that 63 here. We have completed 97 laps here at New Hampshire. Everyone right now pretty spread out at the moment. Ooh, whoa, man. Both the 63 and the 07 were pretty loose off the corner there, pretty much simultaneously. Still both able to keep their spots, though, at the moment. Remember, this 26 is, I believe, also on older tires here. Not as old as Hank Steinmiller's. Just take back a look at the pit strategy here, if I can get that up. See here, Tyler Barnett. So, not as old a tires as some of these other guys. 34 laps ago was the last time he came down pit road, but still, it's a little bit off sequence from everybody else. Tyler Barnett and Hank Steinmiller both pitting last time at the same time, so not as bad as it was last time, but still not great at the moment. 99 has actually caught the one, it seems like. May have a battle here for the lead in a moment. A little bit farther back, Seth Harrelson was able to make that pass on the 63. Laps and laps ago, now the 63 is trying to possibly make that pass back on Seth Harrelson. Seems like Seth is maybe a little bit loose here. Hank is actually starting to try and catch back up to him now. Now, it's one thing to catch somebody here at this track. It's a whole nother thing to try and pass somebody. It's extremely difficult to try and pass, as we've seen many times. It's extremely difficult to not only just try and make a pass, but trying to make a pass on the inside is also a whole nother animal. It's almost like you have to have a giant advantage on tires to try and make a pretty quick pass on the bottom. Kind of keep an eye on Hank here. Let's go ahead and see if we can go on board with Hank Steinmiller here. This is Seth Harrelson. Here's Hank Steinmiller. Ooh, pretty loose there. Oh, and Seth is even more loose. Seth got in the wall there coming off that corner. We know these guys are really loose right now. Back up front, though, we saw Logan for a moment was on the inside of that one car trying to make that pass. As we said, it's one thing to catch somebody, it's a whole other thing to actually make that pass and get by them. So right now, interestingly enough, gap from 1st to 7th, it's just under 3 seconds right now, but it's when you get past, the 63 goes to the inside of the 07 here. He's going to try and power down and make that pass. And the 07 going to try that crossover move now, heading into 3. And they're both, oh no, they're both going to miss the corner. Hank, though, hit the wall. It's going to cost him a ton of time. Actually lose him a spot to John Whitendorf as well. Surprised both those guys just completely missed turn 3 there. And they really dived it in there. Not sure if... I know Seth was going to try and dive it in there. As now Hank Steinmiller goes to look to the inside of the 33. Ooh, close. Close racing right now between these two. Battle for 5th. Maybe Hank is going to try and make a move here. He looks to the outside of the 33 this time. He's able to get it to stick, which he unfortunately can't. Remember, Hank is on older tires compared to all these guys. About 15 or 16 lap older tires compared to all these guys right now. Almost contact there between the 33 and the 07. Oh, maybe even some more contact. At 33 and really wants to get by Seth Harrelson here. Saw he was leading this race earlier on. He's on a 4-race winning streak. He does not want to see that winning streak end for sure. And you're starting to notice here, Seth Harrelson extremely loose off the corner there. Man, he is wearing out that right rear tire. Oh no, he's going to block that 63 all the way down to the apron. I mean, we've seen since Daytona at the beginning of this year that 07 is extremely aggressive. Does anything and everything he can to keep his spots. Knows how valuable they are. But I mean, man, Seth Harrelson is just... maybe just the way he's driving this car right now, but man, that right rear is shot. He is wearing the hell out of that right rear right now. And as we've seen, though, that, you know, guys are extremely loose coming off of these corners in almost every single corner. Coming off of both turn 2 and turn 4, these guys are extremely, extremely loose. So as these guys battle, Colton's gap to second place Logan Monteith has actually opened up to about a half a second, so Colton has actually been able to gap Logan just a little bit here. Seth Harrison goes to dive to the inside. Looks like he'll complete the pass. John's going to try a crossover now. He'll have momentum coming back off the bottom. Another crossover now. Seth Harrelson back to the inside of John Whitendorf. He's going to slide up. Ooh. If there was contact, it was very minuscule. John will get the run off the top. Seth Harrelson is going to follow John into the corner there, maybe giving him a little bit of a bump. Great battle between these two. This is for 4th place right now. Seth goes to the bottom. Gonna have... Ooh. Thought Seth was going to slide up into John there for a moment. For how fast he was coming up the track. Seth will look to the outside, but this opens up the door for Hank Steinmiller. These three have been battling back and forth for quite a bit. All this for 4th place right now. That 14 car just keeps sitting back there watching this, though. He's not involving himself in this race, and he's kind of just watching these guys, allowing these guys to duke it out between the three of them. Hank Steinmiller still trying to get that bottom line to work here. Seth Harrelson into the back of John Weindorf. Oh no, and there it is. Caution comes out. All three of these guys heavily involved. And John's going to have to teleport his car back to pit lane, which this will officially take him out of contention to go 5 in a row here in New Hampshire. We got to go back and watch exactly what happened now. This is following Seth Harrelson here in that 07. We've been watching these guys for quite a bit. You can see he's into the back of him there, turns him down the track, turns the 07 back up the track. That's what you get when you get hard racing there. Side-by-side racing, you just barely get into the back of somebody, it's going to really hurt them. This on board with John Weindorf now is heading into 1 and 2. That 33 is really loose. And that time there was just no saving at that time. As he'll go ahead and teleport back, I mean, obviously an extremely disappointing end to the race for John Weindorf there. I mean, he really did have such a good run going. Last 4 weeks, or excuse me, last 4 races. 4 wins for him. Not meant to be today for him. As everyone comes down. A lot of guys will be taking on the last set of tires here. I mean, there's not too many laps left. So he wins this race off pit road, Logan. Oh, Anthony Guarneri actually wins the race off pit road. So Colton will follow him off. Logan's still behind him. There's Tyler Barnett. Jose Medina, the 24. This is Seth Harrelson. 14 is still on pit road here as well. Is at 63. Both those guys were involved in that last caution. There's the 00 as well. So Anthony Guarneri is now our new race leader in that 16. What makes this interesting is that Anthony, remember, he was 4 points back from that cutoff line. Or excuse me, not 4 points. He was 5 points back from the cutoff line. And so he was kind of really put in a position where either Jose Medina really needed to have a pretty bad race, and he just needed to have a decent race, or he would have to be in the current position that he's in right now, where he's sit in first place right now, trying to get as many possible points as he can. And here's the other thing about this, is he is leading laps. So once he starts leading laps, this adds him an extra bonus point now that he can add to that bank for this race. So now he's on a base scale with this extra bonus point that Jose has not led any laps and the 16 has. Anthony is now not 5 points, he's only 4 points back. So even if Anthony doesn't come out of this thing with the win, you know, let's say he finishes, for example, second place, well, Jose finishes 7th or 8th, Anthony Guarneri's in the chase and Jose Medina is out. So this really shakes things up. I mean, it really comes down to it. Last race of the regular season, everything always gets crazy. So Anthony Guarneri currently leads right now. Jose Medina sits P5, now P6. So this will be extremely interesting to watch here as pace car should make the hard left-hand turn off track this time. Look at all those sim helper cars in the top 4 there. 16, the 99, and the 26. All 3 of those guys, sim helper drivers. Colton, the lonely open driver in the 1 car, as we're back green here. At New Hampshire, the 1 car to the inside of Anthony Guarneri. Side by side bound to backstretch. 16 should have the momentum off the top. See if he'll be able to edge out Colton. He won't. Colton with the... I believe Anthony took 2 tires. Colton took 4, and Colton's able to power off the bottom and take that lead back. Now Logan looks to the inside of the 16. Oh, Jose Medina's up way high there. Jose now dropping back even more spots. Jose is back to 8th. This is only going to help Anthony, but Anthony continues to lose spots as well. Anthony's back to 4th now. His teammate Tyler Barnett gets by him. Keeping an eye here on Anthony Guarneri. Follow him into the corner. Logan's looking for the lead, but here's the other one to keep an eye on. It's 24 cars. We might have... Oh, we might have a slow car. And there's the 4 car. He's on the back, facing the wrong way. That'll bring out a caution. Or at least it should. Actually, it does not. Excuse me for that. I thought that there was... There'd be a... Oh, there is a caution. So I was right the first time. Guys are just racing back to the pace car here. So let's go back and see exactly what happened here on this caution. How did the 4 car get turned around? So following along with James Roth here. He just overcooks the corner. Tries to keep it off the wall. Overcorrects. He's now facing the wrong way, and that'll definitely bring out a caution. So under caution here yet again at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Lobster 150. Colton currently leads right ahead of Logan Monteith. Tyler Barnett sits P3. Anthony Guarneri currently sits P4. And we saw Jose Medina actually continue to lose spots there. So gain a spot with Cooper Johnson hitting pit road. But that is the thing to keep an eye on here, is that 24 and the 16. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here into this caution. We'll be right back with some more green flag action. Welcome back to New Hampshire. We're about to go back green. Colton and the one car has got command of the field. Gas it up and get us back under green here. Completing lap 129. Side by side racing back here. Anthony Guarneri is going to have the run off the top side. Man, Seth almost got it in Anthony again. Now Hank's going to throw it in on the top side there. Almost missed the corner. He went in there so hot. That is the battle to keep an eye on, though. Oh, man. Seth Harrelson almost pushing into 63 all the way down to the wall. It's official. 25 laps to go here in this thing. Battle up front for the lead. 99 in the one car, side by side. Colton has a win this year. That 99 car hasn't won a single race all year long. Oh, and then he gets into Colton. He just turned Colton. Caution is out. Oh, and then Jose Medina is involved trying to avoid the wreck. I've been waiting all race to say this. Championship implications in both incidents here under this caution. Got to go back and take a look at what happened here. Just follow along with Colton in turn one. Logan really overcooks it there to try and get up in front of Logan. Or excuse me, and try and get in front of Colton. Just turns Colton around. I mean, he really slid in there, too. You could see the tire lock up and everything. He was sliding for a good bit there before that contact happened. Let's go back and see what happened with Jose Medina then. So here's Jose. He's going down the front stretch here, coming into this wreck. See, there it is. Just turns left to try and avoid it. So he, not too much damage per se. I mean, he did hit the tires, so he should be okay. Still not an ideal situation of how you wanted that situation to end there. So caution is back out here yet again at New Hampshire. Not even sure how many cautions we've had so far. Logan Monteith is now our new leader after getting in contact with Colton in the one car there. And this 99 car has yet to win a race all year long, but man, he has spent so much time up towards the front of these things. Now he's got himself the lead here with less than 20 laps to go by the time we go back green. It's going to be one interesting finish for sure. Some other notable things here. John Whitendorf is officially out of the race. He did not return to the track. He will finish P12. We will miss him for the next 2 races. Not be a part of the chase, as I mentioned early on the broadcast. Great season for him, though, for sure. Also mentioned Jay Counchill is also out of the race as well. Talked about James Goshen. He's out of the race as well. He should still possibly try and make it in on points. Don't want to count our chickens before they hatch here by the end of this thing. God knows what's going to happen at the end of this. Jose Medina currently sits P8. Looks like he got that damage fixed, though. At least on the hood. Colton is back out on track. See the ticker go by on the top there. Andre Guerrera. P15, Josh Silva not even able to make the start. The pace lights will be out this time by. And, you know, talked about Logan Monteith earlier on in the broadcast. Talked about how he hasn't won a race all season long, but he's been so close so many times. Close at Eldora, close at Las Vegas. Could have possibly had a, if things went his way, you know, was running second at Watkins Glen. Been consistent all year long. A lot of really great runs. Is tonight the night? I don't want to, you know, jinx him here and say that, you know, I think he's going to come out here and win this thing, but he's been so close so many times, as I've mentioned. He's got a couple of teammates to help him behind him, possibly. Tyler Burnett, unfortunately, not able to make the chase-up points. He's officially out. Anthony Guarneri might not be as nice to those guys in front of him, considering he's trying to make the chase. He's only a couple points out. Pace car is off, though. Logan Monteith gets us going, and we're back green here yet again in New Hampshire. Anthony side by side with Seth Harlson. Anthony to the inside of his teammate, and he turned Tyler Burnett a little bit. Tyler Burnett saves, and he comes back down the track. Big wreck behind him. And this will bring out yet another caution. Anthony Guarneri, we said he might not be as nice to his teammates as Tyler Burnett would be to Logan. And we saw it right there. Contact between the 26 and the 16. Let's go back and see exactly what happened here on that one. Off the restart here, this is Tyler Burnett, the 26. 16 just kind of comes up the track a little bit, just barely touched the 26. Looks like he had it saved. Started coming back down the track, coming off of 2, and then officially lost it there. And Tyler Burnett, I mean, he had a lot of struggles throughout this race, was having such a good run. Had sound issues, which got him a bunch of laps down, got all those laps back, got himself all the way up to P2. Then to have this happen to him, extremely disappointed for that 26. This is following along with Seth Harlson here. 26 goes down, gets into the 14. 14 goes into the guardrails in the 07. Continues on straight. All along with the 14 car. I mean, nothing you can do in that scenario. Head on to the barriers. Nothing that 14 could have done in that scenario. 26 is also on pit road after that contact. And the 99 still leads this race. 523 gets another lap back here. Go ahead and take a quick break here and we'll get back with some more green flag action. Back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 99 of Logan Monteith still leads. He's been winless for most of the season. Man, he really stacked. Oh my lord, he really stacked up that inside line off the restart. But 14 laps to go. Logan Monteith gets out to a pretty big lead here. Side by side racing behind him. Colton, who got turned. Oh, there's more contact behind him. 4 and the 14 get into it a little bit. Up towards the front here. Seth Harlson trying to get himself a good run here. Oh man, is he loose off the corner. And 07 has been loose off the corner all night long. He's going to dive it back in there on the top, trying to hang with Anthony Guarneri, but this is going to give Guarneri another spot back. Don't look now, but look who's in second. Colton in that one car, trying to chase back down that 99. Gotta ask yourself, if the one car can catch that 99, what is he willing to do? And the 63 gets turned into the inside wall. Caution is back out here in New Hampshire. Contact we saw with the 07. Gotta go back and see what happened in this one. '63 on the bottom. 07 gets loose again. Ooh. Just the tiniest little tap. Turned him head on into that inside wall, and obviously taking the 63's chances of winning the regular season championship from him, but not much you can do in that scenario. So this will make things extremely interesting now with this caution. This now puts the one car right to the outside of the 99 of Logan Monteith. You know, Colton has won a race this season. Mentioned it earlier on the broadcast. He won an Eldora, beating out this 99 right at the end of that race. And Logan getting into the one car earlier on in this run, turning him around under one of those cautions. Gotta ask a question. That one car looked to possibly retaliate back. Find out here in a few short laps. Let's go ahead and take a quick break and we'll be back to find out that very question here in a little bit. Welcome back to New Hampshire. Green flag action about to be back underway. Logan has control of the field here. Oh man, Colton really getting bumped. She got a good shot going down the front stretch here. 7 to go. Side by side, Colton and Logan. These two have battled a bunch throughout the entire season. Oh, and the double zero's around now. I believe this is going to bring out yet another caution. Not sure what happened this time. This was Jason who got turned around. Let's go back and see what happened. Let's follow along with Jason Hounshow. Right off the start. He starts to get loose. Goes to correct it. Doesn't want to get in the doesn't want to get into the guys in that outside line. Ends up facing the wrong way, unfortunately. It's back live. Not too much change in position, but this is not what Anthony Guarneri wanted to see. At 24, right behind him there, sitting in 4th place. Jose finishes out the race in the spot that he's in. He'd make the chase, and Anthony Guarneri would officially be out. Talk about a couple of good runs. How about James Roth? We kind of saw him. He was involved in that first accident with Nick Seraph, and the whole front end tore off. Came back down. Looks like he's finally taken his fast repair, and now he's sitting P6, so sitting in a great spot right now for sure. See there in the top left, 5 laps to go. Now is the time to go, and everyone's being real aggressive now. One other retiree from the race, Tyler Barnett, is officially out. He's taking his car back to the garage. He had himself a real up and down day for sure. From the front to the back after having sound issues, back to the front, then getting turned, back to the back again, and now officially out of the race. Another thing to note here, Seth Harrelson is actually 3 laps down now. He's sitting P10 with only 4 to go. I'm actually being told he actually had an incident limit issue, so he is actually disqualified from the race. Interesting development for that 07. I mean, we saw the 07 in a decent amount of contact in this race. Didn't expect him to be disqualified for an incident limit, but he actually reached the incident limit at this race and unfortunately had to take his car behind the wall as well, so he is actually out of the race. And he will actually finish P10 because Nick Seraph was actually able to stay on track and pass Seth Harrelson now because of that. So now this really shakes things up now. The 99 and the 1 back in the front row. This time by we will get 2 to go here in this race. Lights are out on the pace car here. What is Anthony Guarneri willing to do? What can Anthony Guarneri do to try and get himself into the chase? Can Jose Medina keep it straight? Get himself into the chase as well. 2 guys in the front row racing for the regular season championship. What are they willing to do to try and win that regular season championship? Better yet, Logan Monteith has won a race all season long. What is he willing to do to win this race? Pace car is off. And we're back green at New Hampshire. Jose Medina really backs out there. Try and keep himself from having contact with Anthony Guarneri. He knows what he needs to do. He knows he just needs to keep the current position that he's in. But it really screwed up James Roth. Coming off of 4. Final lap for Logan Monteith to try and get himself this win. Side by side, James Roth really dives it in there. Contact! Jose Medina's involved. Jose is around. Nick Seraph is in it. Hank Steimler's in it. Back up front. Coming out of 4. The 99 of Logan Monteith is finally going to get his first win of the season in the final race of the regular season. Hank Steimler, Anthony Guarneri comes home P3. Jason Hounshill P4. James Roth P5. Jose Medina fell to P6. Right ahead of Cooper Johnson in P7. It'll be extremely interesting. We'll have to double check the points before we make any determination on who's in or who's out of the chase. Hank Steimler came home P8. And that rounds out all the drivers who finished on the lead lap. But what a race. What a run for this 99 car. You know, we've been talking about Logan Monteith all season long. He hasn't had much practice with these burnouts like John Whitendorf has, but still, this 99 has had himself an amazing season, amazing point season. See, he keeps hitting the walls. He's not very used to doing burnouts here in the Juicebox Racing League. Then again, this 99 car has been through hell and back to try and get that first win here in the Juicebox Racing League, and he finally did it. I mean, he's finished second place so many times this season. Most of them to John Whitendorf. He's led himself a decent amount of laps as well. I mean, all the way as far back as Kentucky earlier this year. He led a lot of laps there as well. Ran really well at Watkins Glen, really well at Eldora. The 99 will finally get to take it back to victory lane. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final results here before we take a look at the point standings heading into the chase. So our final race results here tonight for the Lobster 150. Logan Monteith finally gets his first win of the season here in the Juicebox Racing League, and he picked a great time to do it. Logan, with that win, will officially lock himself to be the regular season champion. Great job for that 99 car. Congratulations to Sim Helper on getting one of their drivers to that spot going into the chase. Colton, an amazing regular season for him. He comes home P2 here today. Had a real good shot at winning at New Hampshire. A great run for him. He's now looking to focus on the chase in a couple of weeks. Anthony Guarneri sits P3 to end the night in that 16 car. I have to double check on obviously the points and see if he was able to points his way in to the chase. But still, even if he does come up short, if he makes it, regardless, he had himself a great run here tonight. Jason Houndshell, he had himself a very interesting night as well. He will now shift his focus to the chase. He finishes P4. James Roth missed a lot of races this season, but still tonight had himself a pretty good run. He had a setback earlier on in the race being involved in that first caution, but he comes home P5 here today. Jose Medina, P6. Be interesting to see if he's able to make the chase here or not. Cooper Johnson, P7. Hank Steinmiller, P8. Nick Seraph, Hank Steinmiller was the final guy on the lead lap. From then on, Nick Seraph finished 3 laps down in P9. Seth Harrelson in P10 to round out the top 10. 8 laps down, he had a disqualification because of the incident limit. 11th on back, Tyler Barnett, fortunately, had himself a really good run, as well as John Whitendorf there in P12. Both those guys had really good runs and involved in wrecks. Jake Houndshell, fortunately not going to be able to make the chase after finishing P13 here tonight. James Goshen in the 14th position. Be interesting to see if he made the chase as well. He'll be extremely close as far as where he finished. Then 15th to 16th, Andre Guerrera. Not a great race for him. And then Josh Silva, I don't believe he even was able to make the start. He finishes P16. So, as the 99 car continues to celebrate, we'll go ahead and now finally get the official results and see who is in the chase and who is officially out. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the official results and the drivers who will be a part of the chase this season. Logan Monteith officially locking up that top spot in the chase. Colton, second place. Hank Steinmiller will start P3. Cooper Johnson will start P4 there. Jason Houndshell P5. Seth Harrelson P6. James Goshen, although he had himself a pretty rough night tonight, he will be able to point himself into the chase. And we're getting word that it was just by one singular point that Jose Medina that Anthony Guarneri unfortunately did not make the chase, and Jose Medina will take that last spot in 8th for the chase. So there are your top 8 there. Logan Monteith, Colton, Hank Steinmiller, Cooper Johnson, Jason Houndshell, Seth Harrelson, James Goshen, and Jose Medina are your 8 drivers who will be a part of this year's 4-race chase over the next 4 races. This will be extremely interesting for them. And then, as you can also see there on the right side, those other 8 drivers there who have 300 points, those guys are still racing for something. Those are the best of the rest. So we'll still keep an eye on those guys over the next 4 weeks. Those guys can still get a prize at the end of the season if they finish 9th place in the points out of those guys with 300 points. Tyler Burnett is still in that boat. Caro, Drew Cox, Dave Gajewski, Anthony Guarneri, Jake Houndshell, David Carpenter, and Nick Seraph. All those drivers are still in the hunt for the best of the rest. So they still have something to race for. But to everybody who stopped in and paid attention to the race from start to finish, appreciate you as always. Hope you all enjoy the broadcast. Next week will be off week for the drivers to get themselves prepared for the chase. And then after that, we'll be heading to Richmond with the ARCA cars to kick off the chase for those 4-race stretch to end the season. So, a great regular season for sure. A lot of different winners. John Whitendorf's streak of 4 wins comes to an end here tonight as Logan Monteith comes home with his first victory in Juicebox Racing League history. Hopefully one of many more to come as he goes and tries to make himself a champion in this league as well. Congratulations to him, and thank you to everybody who stopped in and watched. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you at Richmond in a couple weeks.